The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the speakers and not of DoD or any of its components.
Take me to the countryside. Gotta get out of these city lights. Drinking my cup, got me feeling right.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rising Sun Podcast. Time to do your maintenance. It's the art check. So tonight we're going to talk about a few things. First of all, I got some notes here. We're going to talk about personal excellence and how it's the ultimate rebellion. We're going to talk about our legacy, and I'll give you an example of that. We're going to talk about jointness. So if you follow the podcast, you know that I'm stationed here in Misawa, and so we work very closely with the Air Force. And after that, we're going to talk about some vacation plans because I'm going back to the States here pretty soon. And then I'll give you a little bit of a preview of some upcoming episodes that I'm really excited about, and then we'll close it out. So, all right, time to do your maintenance. So the first thing that I want to talk about tonight is personal excellence. And what I mean by that is that we have an opportunity to be badass motherfuckers, right? And you know, when we look around our situation and in the world or what's going on in our country, I think that sometimes we're like, man, how do we affect change? How do we make things better? And the most effective way of making things better or, you know, affecting change is to look at ourselves closely in the mirror and decide what are the things that I could do better. How can I make myself awesome? How can I be great? How can I do good with my family? And the more that we do those things, then the more that we will affect society. And we talk about it all the time in the military. We talk about leading by example. We talk about leading from the front. It's one of the core tenets of being a Navy chief, or really being any kind of leader, right? I talk about all the time when I'm talking to sailors or people that I'm having a conversation with. And one of the things we talk about is that there's this meme, right? There's this meme that I've seen on Facebook, over the years many times. And there's two different pictures. And one of them is, it says boss, right? And the boss is sitting in a cart, and he's got people that are pulling this cart up a hill, and he's sitting in the cart and pointing up the hill as to say that way, like go that way, go that direction, right? That's a boss. And then the other one, same meme, it says leader, right? And the leader is at the front of the cart, in front of his people, pulling on the cart, pointing up the hill, right? So if you can imagine, that's kind of the two different, I guess, mindsets or way of thinking of things. One is, I'm going to tell you what to do, and I'm going to need you to do it. The other way of thinking of things is, I know what needs to be done, and I'm going to show you how to do it, right? And so I think that we should all think about that, right? If you can get your house in order, if you can be excellent in your daily life, if you can, try to do the right thing, if you can lead by example, if you can show people the right way to do things, then you're going to gain a much larger followership than the people that tell people how to do things. Now, you may be telling people how to do things and totally know what the right way to do things is. And you may be, being excellent in your personal life, but unless you kind of show it, right? And it's this weird juxtaposition of like, I don't want to be, out there, or I want to be humble. And I need to show people that what I'm saying is what I actually do in my life. And so I think that, the best way to do things, whether it's leadership or whether it's, it's just setting the example in your community is to like do it. And it's okay to like show people that you're doing it. That's not a lack of humility. That's not a lack of, like I said, it's not a lack of humility to actually show people that you do what you say that you want them to do. Okay. And so I think that personal excellence is the way that we're going to solve a lot of the problems that we have in the world right now. And not only just being excellent in your personal life, but like being willing and unafraid to show people what it is that you do, right? Look, none of us have it all figured out. I'm not perfect, not by a long stretch, and that's not a disclaimer. I'm just saying that, like, when you do the best that you absolutely can, and then you show people that that's the way that they should be doing things, they're either going to do two things, right? They're going to get on board, and they're going to be all about it, and they're going to say, hey, man, if he can do it, I can do it. Or they're going to say, I'm not interested in that, and then you know what? Like, maybe they're not going to be leaders in our society, and that's okay, right? Because and no hate against anybody like that, right? Like, leaders need followers, right? And so anyway, so this idea of personal excellence, I just want to talk about that real quick, right? Like, if you want things to change, then you got to be the change, and that's a very cliched thing to say, but if you want to see change, then you have to be the change. And I'll challenge everybody that's watching this or listening to it that, be the change, man. You want to see things get better? Well, you know what? Be better, right? I'm listening to my own advice here, right? So, okay, so that's personal excellence. The next thing I want to talk about is legacy. So, this kind of bleeds into the last thing that we're going to talk about, which is a couple of the episodes that we have coming up. So I'll kind of preface it a little bit. So one of my really good friends, and quite frankly, protege, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Although I call him a mentor too, so it's this crazy relationship. So he was one of my chiefs on McCampbell, Aaron Paul. He's been on the podcast before, and so is his wife. He recently finished CMC Cobb School, and I just couldn't be prouder of the guy, right? And it got me to really thinking. I've thought about this a long time. What is your legacy? And I truly believe, especially if we're talking about the military life, your legacy is not going to be the millions of dollars that you've made, right? It may not be the companies that you've built. And so then, what can you be proud of when you're done with this military life, right? And without a doubt, it's the people that you've affected. It's the lives that you've changed. It's the people that you've seen get to the next level that you had some influence over. I talk about this all the time on the podcast because I truly believe it, man. And it's not a prideful type thing, but I think it's important. I think that any person going through this life needs to think about what their legacy is going to be. What did you do to make the world a better place? What did you do to be remembered? And that's okay to think about, right? And I'm not talking about when you die. I mean, when you die, certainly. Like, do people speak well of you at your funeral? That's probably an important thing to think about. But I think your legacy is the people that you impact, that you see be successful, that you see be upstanding members of society, that you see be good fathers and good mothers and just good people in general, right? And so, I could go down a long list, and this is one of those things I'm not ashamed to talk about. I am very proud of my legacy when it comes to the people that I've positively impacted during my career in the military, in the Navy. And, just to highlight one of them is Aaron. And, man, holy cow, he's about to go be a command senior chief. And I'm just so proud of him, right? And it just gives me a sense of satisfaction that, like, all those conversations we had for 2 years when we were together, in McCampbell, like all of that stuff is coming to fruition, right? Like we Amanda, his wife, talks about, like, we spoke it into existence. And to see him, about to take that next step, I really look at that legacy. And I think that, why are we talking about this on the R Check? I think if you're, if you're 21 or if you're 41, you should be thinking about what your legacy is. You should be thinking about that, because it's going to make you make better decisions. It's not going to handcuff you. It's not going to cripple you in the decisions you make, but certainly it's going to give you perspective, right? It's going to give you perspective. Like, how am I impacting? How am I affecting people in my day-to-day life? And what are they going to do? Like, you got to be thinking about that, right? Like, your legacy is important. Your legacy is super important for the decisions you make in your day-to-day. And, you know, when you're 21, you have to be very conscious of it. And then, you know, by the time you're 28, like, you've built some habits. And by the time you're 35, like, all right, this is who I am. And by the time you're my age, still trying to figure a lot of things out. But, like, I know how to do this, and I know what to do to help those people around me to be successful. And so then you stop thinking so much about your legacy, and just like the legacy becomes what it is, because you're doing the work, right? You're doing the things that will positively impact people, that will help them get to the next level. And if you do that enough over time, then your legacy will be great, right? And but I think it's important to think about, right? So I hope that you're thinking about that. I hope that you're thinking about what your legacy with your family is, what your legacy with, you know, the people that you influence, the people that work for you, because it's important, right? It's super important. Oh, by the way, it doesn't only make you better. Like, if your legacy is a positive one, that you're positively impacting these people around you, then guess what, man? It's like a multiplying effect. And so they go out there and they're thinking about the same thing, and they're trying to, you know, make people better. And all of a sudden we've got this movement of people, going back to that personal excellence thing, where we're just all trying to make each other better, and we're tolerant, and we accept each other's differing views. And we just want to help each other, right? We want to help each other, like, excel and get to the next level and be, you know, like, be the best person that we can possibly be. And if we're all thinking that way, then all of a sudden we have a pretty badass fucking thing going, right? So anyways, Aaron, I know you watch these. I'm super proud of you, man. And can't wait to see what this next chapter brings for you. And I appreciate you being part of my legacy. So switch gears a little bit. So like we said, or like you probably know from multiple iterations of the Art Check and other podcasts that I've done at this point. So here in Misawa, we're blessed to be on what we call like a joint use base. It's not a joint base. You know, there's multiple entities that reside and work on this base. And but the two main entities, we have Army, and of course we have JASDEF, and that's a whole other conversation. JASDEF is Japan Air Self-Defense Force. But for the purpose of this conversation, you know, the major touch points are Navy and Air Force. And I'll tell you, man, something that I worked really hard at these last 2 years, and not to toot my own horn, but I worked super, super hard with Joey and with a lot of people to bring the senior enlisted community here in Misawa together. Because I truly believe that nothing happens in the military without your senior NCOs. Like, we don't run the military, but we make the military run. We take policy that's given to us and we put it into effect, and we garner the support from our junior sailors and our junior airmen to make shit happen, right? And so that's the key, right? I think the key to any military organization is a close and close knit, and this very unique idea that we have of senior NCOs. In the Navy, Chief Petty Officers. In the Air Force, their association, but really the way they think of it is their top three, right? So in the Navy, 789, Air Force 789, so Chief Petty Officers top three. And we've done a real good job, I think, of getting together on certain things, but we in my last little while here, our Chief Petty Officer Association and the top three have this very real desire to get together. I think part of it is because they see what we've done with initiation to bring some Air Force Master Sergeants through initiation, and they see kind of like this change in those guys and gals. And I think that, we both have a lot to learn from each other, but I'll just keep it 100, right? Like, I think that any of the military branches, senior NCOs have a lot to learn from the Chiefs Mess. Like, we do it right. And that's not being arrogant. Like I've been around enough other military senior NCOs to understand that like the way that we do it in the Navy, it's unique, and I think it's kind of the right way. And so when we think about the way we're going to fight, right? When it happens, because inevitably it's going to happen, right? I don't know when or where or how, but inevitably we're going to all be fighting together, and we're gonna have the operators flying aircraft and putting warheads on foreheads, but a lot of the logistical and inner workings are going to happen at that senior NCO level, right? And so I think that it's super important that we become more aligned. I almost would like to see, and I'm thinking of this right now, we've got different service academy, senior enlisted academies, right? So we got a senior enlisted academy, the senior NCO academy, the Marines have theirs, the Coast Guard has theirs, the Army has theirs, and like, this costs money, so nobody's gonna be interested in it. But what if we had a joint and exclusive senior NCO academy, right? Where you had, upstanding members of each branch that ran it, that created a curriculum that applied to all senior NCOs. Because now we allow and we encourage senior NCOs from the Air Force to come to the Navy SEA, and Navy Chiefs to go to the Air Force Senior NCO Academy, and like we rotated around and they all satisfy the requirement for advancement. Man, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking about a pipe dream here, but what if it was one? What if it was one? That would sure be setting the example for our people, that we place such an emphasis on jointness. But in any case, I don't know, man. Pipe dream, R-check pipe dream, right? I'll have to coin that phrase, R-check pipe dream. I might write that down actually. But anyway, so the great thing is this Friday, so tomorrow, this is going to come out on Friday. I'm recording Thursday night, but so tomorrow night we're doing a CPOA, Sound of Freedom. You might hear it. Anyways, we're doing a joint CPOA and top 3 social over at the Goat Locker here in Misawa. And I'm really looking forward to it, man, because I know a lot of the, master sergeants, senior master sergeants, and it's funny because we all live by each other. And so there'll probably be a lot of people there that know each other, but it'll be fun to get everybody in one room and just have those conversations about how we can be better and what we can do to be a better, senior NCO community here in Misawa. So because that's where it happens, man. We put the grill on, we have a couple drinks, and like that's where the magic happens. And so I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be tomorrow. Okay, so that's the meat. That's the meat of the R-check, right? So we talked about personal excellence. Be a bad motherfucker, right? Be an unashamed bad motherfucker. Okay, lead from the front. Lead by example. Show your people the right way to do it, and don't be ashamed of it. Like, get after it, man. Okay, so personal excellence. We talked about legacy. Okay, your legacy is important to you as a person, but your legacy actually impacts society just like personal excellence, right? Because the more people that you impact, the more people you influence, the more people you turn to the light, to the good side, the greater cascading effect you have across society. So I hope you'll think about your legacy. And then we talked about jointness. It's a very military specific, topic, but I think that the more joint and aligned that the senior NCO community in the military can be, I think it's better for everybody. So, all right, so now I'm gonna talk about something fun. I am going back to the States in June. Millie graduates on the 26th of this month. If you don't know, 3 girls, Millie, Hazel, Elizabeth. Got 3 teenage girls. Millie graduates on the 26th. Hazel's a freshman going into her sophomore year, and Elizabeth is a 7th grader going into her 8th grade year. And I have never taken 30 days of leave in 21 years. I'm not bragging. I'm just letting you know. I've never done it, right? And I am so excited to take them back to the States. I'm a bad father in this regard, right? So we've lived in Japan forever. I mean, we lived in Tennessee for like 3 years when Millie was like 2 till she was 5. So, and then, like we all lived in Hawaii, but like Hawaii is barely America, right? I mean, we all know that. They spend dollars and they speak English mostly. But other than that, Hawaii is like its own thing. And so, anytime that I would get leave from Japan, mostly on ships, I'd have maybe 16 days if I was lucky. And so I had 2 obligations, right? I had to get to mom's house, I had to get to dad's house. And so like what it's fucked up, man. Like what they know about America is Winfield, Louisiana. Yeah, you don't know where that is. Like nobody does. It's a great place. I fucking love Winfield, right? But either Winfield or Beaumont, like Southeast Texas, where like, Pecanland Mall is like the biggest. It's not Pecanland. That's in Monroe. Anyways, the mall in Beaumont. But my point is they don't know the states, right? And so I'm really like super excited to take them back. And the plan is we'll spend some time out on the lake with mom, jet skis and surfing behind boats and like the pontoon boat and, do some fishing, hopefully catch some white perch and maybe a bass or 2. But so do the lake thing. Then we'll go to San Antonio, do the river walk, just enjoy San Antonio, eat some good food. And then from there, we're going to go to Baton Rouge, go see Trampus. That's my cousin. He's actually my nephew, but it's weird. I don't want to explain the story. So we call him my cousin, but he's my nephew. He's older than me. So we'll go to Baton Rouge. Then he's got a camp down in Grand Isle. And so we'll do some fishing off of Grand Isle. Just enjoy Baton Rouge. We'll go to New Orleans, go to the French Quarter, go to Jackson Square, go to Cafe Du Monde. And then when we're done there, we'll go up to Winfield and see Mama and, be there for a Howell family reunion. They've never met the Howell family. They met the whole Packard family, but they've never met the Howell family. I've got 8 aunts. My dad had 8 younger sisters, and we haven't all been together in, at least 25 years, and probably a lot longer than that. By a few years, but we're gonna all go down to Mama's house and have a Howell family reunion in June, so it's gonna be hot as hell, but whatever, man, it'll be great. A lot of good food, a lot of hairspray. A lot of my aunts are Pentecostal, so a lot of hairspray. But I can't wait to do that. And then from Winfield, we're gonna go to Dallas and see Matt and his family, and go to the Fort Worth stockyards. And then from Dallas, we're going to drive down to Austin and see the state capitol and just be in Austin. They're still pretty young, but maybe we can get in a little bit early to some of the things on 6th Street, see some live music, eat some good barbecue. And then from there, we're going to Houston, go to the Galleria, go to the Space Center, and then wrap it up with, being back at Mom's house. And for about the last 5 or 6 days, Millie is actually going to fly to D.C. and see one of her good friends that lives, in Virginia, but right by D.C. So I'm super excited for her that she'll get to go see our nation's capital, walk on the mall, see the Capitol building, the Washington Monument, the Smithsonian, the Lincoln Monument. I'm super excited for her to be able to see like, oh, this is our nation's capital kind of thing. So I don't know, man. I just want to share that with you guys because, some people might wonder, like, it's the Rising Sun podcast. Like, yeah, I have sequestered myself in Japan for a long time. It's because I love this country. But I don't know. I want everybody to understand, if you're listening to this, watching it, that I love America. Like, I'm as American as it gets. Like, I love our country so much, and it pains me to see the turmoil that is happening in our country, because I truly, truly believe that the ideals that we were founded upon are true and perfect. the idea of personal freedom, of valuing individual rights, of small government. Like I believe strongly in all those things. But I've traveled the world since I've been in the Navy, and one of the things I found is that there's expats everywhere, and just because you love your country doesn't mean you necessarily have to live there. And I used to feel a lot of guilt about that, actually, like how much I loved America and the fact that I found myself happier in another country, in Japan. But the more mature I got, and the greater understanding of kind of the world that I gained, I understand that, like, this is where I'm happy. Like, I'm happy in Japan, and I love America, and I'm happy in America too. But I found some sense of peace here, and it was a real sense of peace. I don't know that I believe in like former lives, but it's a concept that's kind of fun to think about, and I wonder if I didn't live here, in a former life, because the first time I got to Japan in 2001, very soon I felt this overwhelming kind of sense of peace, and it's never gone away. It's lingered, 20 years later, and point is, I can't wait to come back home, see everybody, but more than anything, just to show my kids, and quite frankly, mommy too, my wife, like to show everybody, like, this is America. And yeah, I got it. I'm not going to everywhere. I would love to go to New York City and go to a Broadway play, and go to Hollywood, and go to Seattle, and just all these other places. And eventually we'll get there, right? But I just want to show them kind of like where I'm from. And where I'm from is basically East Texas and Louisiana, right? And those are pretty fucking awesome places, to be from. So, okay, so that's the vacation plans. I hope you stuck with me as I kind of went through that. I don't know. You can probably see it on my face. Like, I'm fucking stoked, man. It's gonna be awesome. So, all right. 2 awesome episodes coming up. I'm going to record both of them Saturday. So Saturday's a busy day. Like I said, I've got the social on Friday night, tomorrow night, and then Saturday I'm recording 2 podcasts. Also, I'm going to one of my friend's birthday parties. So I'm going to go to a birthday party, and then I'm going to record the debrief, right, with Aaron. So basically, I'm going to turn it over to him, and we're going to talk about his experience at the CMC Cobb class up there in Newport with JJ. Shout out JJ. He said he loves my podcast. He probably watched like 5 minutes of it. I'm going to test right here to see if he's seen it. I want him to be on a guest at some point, but, not just JJ. There's a lot of people I'd like to have on as a guest, but I want to get enough out there. I want to get enough episodes that, like, for some people that are in a very kind of premier, like in the front position in the military, it's a challenge to ask them to come on here, because I need to have some groundwork laid. I need there to be plenty of content to show like what this podcast is all about before they will be approved to come on this podcast. So I would love to have JJ on. I'd love to have Jim on. I'd love to have Paul. I think Paul is already committed to doing it, but again, I want it to be worthy of having them on, right? I want the quality to be good. I want I want there to be a value in them coming on. So but anyways, so we're going to talk to Aaron about his experience at CMC Cobb. I remember my CMC Cobb experience, best 2 weeks of my Navy career. I learned so much about myself and how to be a better leader. So I want to get the debrief from him, right? And then we're going to record on Saturday also Captain Allison Christie, my CO on McCampbell. Let me tell you something. I am fucking fired up to have her on. Man, like, I don't know, man. Like, we had such good times on McCampbell, hard times, very stressful times. But when I think about my best times in my first ride as a CMC, they're all attached to the conversations that Captain Christie and I had. So I asked her when I first started this if she would be willing to do it. She's super busy. She and her wife are a military family. They're both officers, SWOs in the Navy, and so they're super busy. And so when she said that she could carve out some time to come on, man, like, I am stoked to talk to her. She's got a great story, and more than anything, it probably, for me personally, it'll just be nice to sit around for an hour and some change and just catch up on old times and talk about her philosophy on leadership and kind of her worldview. And so I don't know, man, I'm super excited about that. She was like, do I need to be talking about, do I need to be asking Big Navy about this? No, it's fine. I put a disclaimer at the beginning. I said I'm not gonna ask you anything that'll get either one of us jammed up. So it'll be good, man. I'm like super looking forward to talking to her. So that's what's coming up, right? And those will both be released next week. So finally, here's what I want to tell you. So I think I'm gonna start a hashtag. I'm gonna start a hashtag, right? And the hashtag is gonna be Keep Rising. Okay. It's what I tell myself in the mirror every day. And that's what I hope you're telling yourself. Personal excellence. What's your legacy going to be, right? Keep rising. If you find yourself stagnant, if you find yourself in the same place, if you find yourself not moving forward, then you're probably fucking it up. Like, real talk. You should be trying to improve something every day until the day you die. And if you're not, then you're wasting your fucking time. Okay? So keep rising. That's what I want you to do. That's what I'm going to keep doing. I hope you'll share that with all the people that you work with. Like, keep rising, man. Keep getting after it. Keep getting better. Keep improving yourself. Keep setting a good example. Just keep rising. Okay? All right. That's it. We did our maintenance. I'm proud of all of you. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.